Disclaimer. The following video contains content that may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome to our channel, brave souls. Before we dive into the haunted tales of the Great White North, we need to set the stage. The stories you'll hear today aren't for the faint of heart. They are filled with chilling encounters, restless spirits, and echoes of the past that refuse to fade away. You might know me from coming face to face with the paranormal or, trying to. This time, we're braving the Great White North, trekking through the chilling tales and spooky spots that make Canada a paranormal playground. From coast to coast, this country's got it all: ghost stories whispered around campfires, haunted hotels with restless spirits, and battlefields echoing with the tragedies of the past. We're talking about places where history and hauntings collide, where the line between this world and the next gets blurry, if you believe in that sort of thing. Now, I'm not saying I believe in ghosts, but I'm not saying I don't believe in them either. But the stories we're about to dive into, let's just say they're enough to make even the biggest skeptic sleep with the lights on. So fasten your belt, grab your flashlight, and maybe a change of pants, because we're about to embark on a journey through Canada's most haunted locations. This is not for the faint of heart, you've been warned. Nestled in the heart of the Canadian Rockies, the Banff Springs Hotel looks like something out of a fairy tale, right? With its majestic architecture and stunning surroundings, it's easy to see why it's often called the Castle in the Rockies. I mean, it's this grand castle-like hotel with stunning views that take your breath away. You almost expect to see like a Disney princess waltzing around the elegant lobby or the grand ballroom. But behind the luxurious facade, there's a darker, more mysterious side that few dare to explore. This place is rumored to be crawling with more ghosts than a Scooby-Doo marathon, each with their own spine-chilling tale. We're talking about a whole host of permanent guests who checked in but never quite checked out, leaving behind eerie echoes of their past. From phantom bellhops who still attend to their duties to a mysterious bride who met a tragic end on her wedding day, the Banff Springs Hotel has enough ghost stories to keep you up at night, wondering what might be lurking around the next corner. And, okay, maybe you don't believe in ghosts. Maybe you think it's all just drafts and creaky floorboards playing tricks on your mind. But what about the stories from the staff? The people who walk these halls every day and have experienced things they can't explain. They've reported unexplained noises, flickering lights, and even full-bodied apparitions that vanish into thin air. These aren't just random occurrences, they happen frequently enough to make even the most skeptical person pause. See, that's the thing about the Banff Springs Hotel. It's not just the stories that'll give you chills. It's the possibility that there might be something more lurking in the shadows, waiting to reveal itself. So next time you find yourself in the Canadian Rockies, maybe take a detour to the Banff Springs Hotel. Who knows? You might just have a ghostly encounter of your own. Now, every good haunted hotel needs a good ghost story, right? And the Banff Springs Hotel delivers with the tale of the ghost bride. Legend has it that a young bride, on her wedding day, met a tragic end on the grand staircase. Some say her dress caught fire, others say she tripped and fell. Whatever the cause, she's been seen wandering the halls ever since, a spectral figure in a white gown still searching for her groom. Guests have reported seeing her dancing in the ballroom, a lonely figure waltzing to a tune only she can hear. Now, I'm not saying I believe in ghost brides, but I've seen enough horror movies to know that you don't mess with a heartbroken spirit. They say if you listen closely, you can still hear the faint strains of music, the echo of a wedding waltz that ended in tragedy. Is it the wind whistling through the halls, or is it the ghost bride forever searching for her lost love? I'll let you be the judge. If you're really looking for a spooky stay at the Banff Springs Hotel, you might be tempted to book room 873. Just one problem: it's been permanently sealed off, walled up like something out of an Edgar Allan Poe story. Why? Well, the stories vary, but they all point to something sinister happening within those four walls. Some say a family was murdered there, their spirits forever trapped. Others whisper about a malevolent entity that drove guests to madness. Whatever the truth, the hotel has gone to great lengths to keep room 873 sealed tight. Now, I don't know about you, but when a hotel goes out of its way to hide a room, It makes me think that they're hiding something big. Is it just a publicity stunt to play on the hotel's haunted reputation? Or is there something truly evil lurking behind that bricked-up doorway? Maybe we'll never know. Or maybe, just maybe, some secrets are better left buried. Okay, let's trade the mountain landscapes for something a little more, shall we say, seaside spooky. We're headed to Victoria, British Columbia, home of the Fairmont Empress Hotel. This grand dame of hotels has seen it all. Royalty, celebrities, and, you guessed it, ghosts. Built in 1908, this place is practically dripping with history, and where there's history, there are bound to be a few lingering spirits, right? Guests have reported all sorts of strange encounters, from flickering lights and unexplained noises to full-bodied apparitions. Now, I'm not saying every creaky floorboard or flickering light means you've got a ghost on your hands, but at the Fairmont Empress, the evidence seems to pile up faster than dirty laundry in a haunted house. And trust me, there are some seriously dedicated ghost hunters out there who would love to get their hands on this place. But for now, we're just here to explore the stories, the legends that have made the Fairmont Empress a must-see destination for ghost enthusiasts and skeptics alike. One of the most well-known residents of the Fairmont Empress is the ghost of Francis Rattenbury, the hotel's architect. Now, Rattenbury met a rather unfortunate end, but we'll get to that later. They say he's still hanging around, making sure his masterpiece is up to snuff. Guests and staff have reported seeing him in his signature tweed suit, strolling through the lobby or even sketching in the Palm Court. Some say he's a benevolent spirit keeping an eye on his creation, but others, well, they say he's not too happy with some of the renovations that have been done over the years. Imagine spending an eternity watching people mess with your life's work. I'd be pretty ticked off too. Whether he's a friendly ghost or a disgruntled architect, one thing's for sure. Francis Rattenbury's presence is definitely felt at the Fairmont Empress. Speaking of lingering presences, the Fairmont Empress also has a resident vanishing maid. Guests have reported seeing a maid pushing a tea trolley down the hallway, only to watch her disappear into thin air. Now, I don't know about you, but I find disappearing maids to be a little unsettling. And if that's not enough, there's the mystery of room 673. It's said to be haunted by the ghost of a former guest who allegedly died under mysterious circumstances. People have reported feeling cold spots in the room, hearing strange noises, and even seeing apparitions. The hotel staff is pretty tight-lipped about room 673. Some say they've stopped renting it out altogether. Others whisper that it's reserved for special guests. You know, the kind who don't mind sharing their room with a ghost or two. Whatever the truth may be, one thing's for sure. The Fairmont Empress is a hotel with more than its fair share of secrets and spectral residents. Okay, so picture this. Toronto, late 1800s, a bustling city on the rise, full of promise and potential. A beautiful mansion, all brick and grandeur, owned by a dude named Hart Massey, big shot industrialist. You know the type. He was one of those guys who seemed to have it all. Guy practically built the city on the backs of tractors or whatever they made back then. His influence was everywhere, from factories to the very streets people walked on. But here's the thing. Right from the get-go, this place was touched by tragedy. It was as if the mansion itself was cursed. One of Massey's daughters, Lillian, she died in the house, just a kid. Her death cast a long shadow over the family. Some say it was tuberculosis, others whisper about a broken heart. The exact cause remains a mystery, adding to the eerie aura of the mansion. Whatever the reason, boom, sadness embedded in the walls. The very bricks seemed to absorb the grief, and it didn't stop there. The mansion's tragic history continued to unfold. Years later, after the Massey family had moved on, the mansion was bought by another family. And guess what? The cycle of sorrow repeated itself. Another daughter dies in the house. This time it's a suicide. The weight of the mansion's past seemed too much to bear. They say she hung herself in the main hall, driven to despair by who knows what kind of sorrow haunted those rooms. The mansion's dark legacy grew even darker. So you've got this building, right? A place where joy seemed impossible to sustain, steeped in the grief of two young lives cut tragically short. The air itself seemed heavy with their lost dreams. Is it any wonder that people say the Keg Mansion is crawling with restless spirits? I mean, come on, talk about bad vibes. It's like the mansion itself is a monument to sorrow. So next time you pass by, remember the tragic past that lingers within those walls. It's a story that refuses to be forgotten. Now, most haunted hotspots, they've got one or two star players in the ghost department. You know, the usual suspects that everyone talks about. The Keg Mansion, oh no, this place is like a spectral casting call. It's got a whole ensemble of spirits, each with their own chilling backstory. But there's one ghost story that always sends chills down my spine, no matter how many times I hear it. It's about a maid who worked for the Masses, a prominent family back in the day. They say she was madly in love with one of the Massey sons, a forbidden romance for sure. Their love was a secret, hidden from the prying eyes of society. But then tragedy struck again. The son died unexpectedly, leaving the maid utterly devastated. Heartbroken and desperate, the maid, she couldn't bear the thought of living without her love. Her world crumbled around her. So she found a rope, went up to the attic and, well, you can guess the rest. Her sorrow led her to a tragic end. Some say her spirit still wanders the mansion, weeping for her lost love, unable to find peace. People have reported hearing sobs echoing through the halls, especially near the attic. It's as if her grief is eternally etched into the walls. And get this, there have been sightings of a woman in a long dark dress, her face pale and streaked with tears, vanishing into thin air. Witnesses swear they can feel her sadness. I don't know about you, Ryan, but that's enough to make me want to steer clear of any attics, especially in old mansions with a history of heartbreak. The very thought sends shivers down my spine. It's like a recipe for ghostly disaster, a perfect storm of sorrow and spectral activity. These days, the Keg Mansion is not a family home anymore. Nope, they turned it into a restaurant. A steakhouse, to be precise. And I guess that makes sense. Got to mask the scent of despair with something, right? Why not sizzling meat and garlic mashed potatoes? But here's the thing, even with all the fancy food and renovations, the ghosts, they didn't pack up and leave. Oh no, they're still there, hanging out between courses, probably stealing fries off people's plates, you know, typical ghost stuff. And the reports from diners, let's just say they're enough to make you lose your appetite. People have talked about feeling cold spots, hearing whispers in their ears, even seeing apparitions out of the corner of their eyes. Some claim their food has been moved, their drinks mysteriously refilled. Listen, I'm not saying you shouldn't enjoy a good steak, but maybe, just maybe, skip dessert at the Keg Mansion. You never know who or what might be joining you for that last bite. All right, so we're in Quebec City, standing on the Plains of Abraham. Now, this place has seen some things. I'm talking major historical bloodshed. Back in 1759, the British and French went head-to-head right here, and let me tell you, it wasn't pretty. Thousands of soldiers lost their lives in a single day. Can you imagine the energy left behind after something like that? All those souls caught in the crossfire, unable to move on. It's enough to make your hair stand on end just thinking about it. Some say the spirits of those fallen soldiers still roam the battlefield, forever locked in that final conflict. There have been reports of ghostly figures charging through the mist, the faint sound of cannon fire echoing in the distance. And you know me, I'm not one to buy into every ghost story, but there's something about this place. The air feels heavy, weighed down by the weight of history and maybe, just maybe, the lingering presence of the dead, of... Now, one of the most famous stories from the Plains of Abraham is that of the Lady in White. Legend has it that she's the spirit of a young woman who lost her fiancé in the battle. They say she waited for him here, day after day, year after year, until the day she died, heartbroken and alone. Now her ghostly figure is said to appear on the anniversary of the battle, searching for her lost love. Some witnesses describe her as a beautiful woman, dressed in a flowing white gown, her face pale and sorrowful. Others say she appears as a wisp of white smoke drifting across the battlefield like a mournful sigh. Either way, the lady in white has become a fixture in local folklore, a tragic reminder of the human cost of war and the enduring power of love and loss. But the lady in white isn't the only ghostly resident of the Plains of Abraham. Visitors and park rangers have reported all sorts of strange occurrences over the years. Unexplained cold spots, disembodied voices whispering on the wind, and the feeling of being watched. One park ranger even claimed to have seen a full-on spectral regiment marching across the field late one night. He said they vanished into thin air right before his eyes. Now, I don't know about you, but that's enough to make me want to steer clear after dark. Look, I'm not saying that every shadow holds a ghost, and I'm not saying that every gust of wind is the whisper of a lost soul. But there's something undeniably eerie about this place. It's like the past is bleeding into the present. And the line between the living and the dead is a little bit thinner here on the Plains of Abraham. All right, buckle up, because we're heading to a place called the Screaming Tunnel in Niagara Falls, Ontario. And let me tell you, this place definitely lives up to its name. It's a 125-foot-long limestone tunnel that's supposedly haunted by the ghost of a young girl. Now, the details of the story get a little murky, as they often do with these legends. Some say she was running through the tunnel, trying to escape a fire that had engulfed her home when she was tragically caught in the flames. Others claim she was murdered by her own father, who chased her into the tunnel and set it ablaze with her trapped inside. Whatever the truth may be, the legend of the Screaming Tunnel has persisted for over a century, drawing paranormal enthusiasts and curious visitors alike. They say that if you stand in the middle of the tunnel at midnight and light a match, the flame will be extinguished, and you'll hear the blood-curdling screams of the young girl echoing through the darkness. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not about to tempt fate like that. Besides, I'm pretty sure lighting matches in a confined space is frowned upon by, the fire marshal and all that. But even without the ritual, the Screaming Tunnel has an undeniably creepy vibe. The air is thick with humidity and the scent of moss and damp stone. The walls are covered in graffiti, a visual testament to the countless visitors who have come seeking a glimpse of the paranormal. The Screaming Tunnel has been featured on numerous paranormal investigation shows, and the results have been, well, let's just say, intriguing. EVP recordings have picked up unexplained whispers and disembodied voices, and electromagnetic field detectors have gone haywire inside the tunnel. Some investigators claim to have captured photographic evidence of ghostly apparitions and strange lights. Of course, skeptics argue that these phenomena can be explained away as natural occurrences or simply tricks of the light. But even the most hardened cynic can't deny the palpable sense of unease that permeates the Screaming Tunnel. It's a place where the veil between the living and the dead feels thin, and the weight of tragedy and sorrow hangs heavy in the air. Well, there you have it. 5 of Canada's most haunted places, each with its own chilling history and spine-tingling tales. From the ghostly halls of grand hotels to the battle-scarred fields and eerie tunnels, Canada has no shortage of spooky destinations for those brave enough to seek them out. Thank you for joining us on this terrifying journey through Canada's most haunted places. If you dare, visit these locations yourself and see if you can experience the paranormal. And hey, if you do happen to run into any ghosts, tell them Shane from BuzzFeed Unsolved says, hey, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for more spine-chilling adventures. Until next time, stay safe and stay spooky.